And I bear witness that Muhammad is the slave, and messenger of Allah. That is just this people. Why do they especially hate my people? Why do they especially hate these religious people?
If you think today that Allah loves everyone, regardless of what people are doing, you must be praised. Next question, please.
So now what they tell us is, they tell us that God therefore became a man. Now what sort of nonsense is that? I want to ask you people, God became a man?
I praise God who is the Trinity. He is the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Shut up, another brainwashed idiot.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear listener, may Allah have mercy on you. The tapes you're about to watch have been filmed over the last few years, where myself and Abu Sufyan McDowell and sometimes Sheikh Abdurrahman Dimishqiya have been calling the people to the worship of Allah, away from the worship of false gods, debating, talking, discussing with Christians, Hindus, Jews, atheists about Islam, about life, in order to make them try and understand the truth that the only religion acceptable to Allah is Islam. Sometimes these arguments have got a bit heated. Sometimes these discussions may seem to you that the speaker is talking to the audience in a very harsh way or in a very tough way, but Speaker's Corner is a unique place. It has its own problems, and we have to deal with the people in a certain way. Naturally, we're standing on a platform, we have to shout loud, and sometimes we speakers, we get into arguments and we lose control ourselves. So we don't ask you to imitate our mistakes. We don't ask you to copy our errors. But we hope that these videos will increase your iman. They will help you yourself to give dawah, give you some ideas for dawah, and also that it may be a source of entertainment for you, because without a doubt you will find it great fun watching these videos, and we hope you will enjoy what you're about to see. Jazakallah khair. And finally, we ask, of course, that you make dua for all the brothers down there who are trying to make the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the most high.
I bear witness and testify with knowledge that there is no God worthy of worship, and to which I will come in a minute, which gods I have rejected, or the idea or concept of God which people have in their minds that I have rejected, and every single Muslim have rejected. But I also testify that the only one who is truly worthy of worship is Allah Almighty. That's the affirmation I make, because I know that there is a creator. I know that there is a God. This God who created us, and no doubt about this. Those who have doubts about the creator, let us reason together and discuss about this. Why is it that in this society, people take the norm as unbelief as the norm? If you're an atheist, you're justified in believing as such, as if unbelief is the normal thing. Those who believe, they are put in a situation, in a defensive one, as if they have to justify why they believe in a creator. Why is this so? Why is this the greatest myth in the 20th century? Unbelief becoming the norm. That if you're a believer, you have to justify your position. Now let us explore this issue now, in detail. There are two groups of people. One who believes, the theist, believes in a creator, and the other group, one who doesn't. The first question we should ask is this: what is the answer to our question, which is, where did we come from? Because the fact that we exist, I am speaking and you can listen to me. I exist, you exist. No doubt about this. So where did I come from? Did I create myself? Did I give life to myself? Or did you create me? Did you create the heavens and the earth? Or did you come from nothing? Did nothingness create you, give you life? So this question I give us to the atheist and to the theist, because we want to discuss this issue from both sides. Did you create yourself? No, you didn't. Did you create the universe? No, you didn't. But the fact that you have life means something has given you life. Or someone, to be more precise, which I'll explain why I use this term. Something has given you life. Something has brought this world, the universe into existence. That's the fact, that's the reality. Because the universe exists. How did it come? Did it create itself? Did the universe create itself? From something or from nothing? Did nothingness create us? What do you think? Nothingness. Nothingness doesn't exist. So how can nothing create something? So if I ask you this question, why do the atheists say that we know God doesn't exist? What's your proof for that? What's your evidence to say that there is no creator? When it's obvious. When it is obvious. But you may ask, oh look, we can't see God. But we can see the sun, so we know the sun exists. But we can't see God. Now I ask you, does gravity exist? Does electronegativity exist? Electrons? Electricity? Every single one of you would say yes. Show me gravity. Show me electricity. Show me. If the logic or the argumentation you have taken for yourself is something which is tangible, something which is visible, show me gravity. Why is it then you devise another method when it comes to this? Oh no, gravity you can't see it, but we can say, look, if you drop something, that's because of gravity. The fact that me and you are here, the earth rotating around the sun, is a proof that something has put it in this place. Something has put water and design in this universe. Why does the earth move around the sun? Why does planetary objects have motion? Why? Why doesn't everything fall apart in chaos? If things came by accidents, if universe was a product or result of accidents, chance, why is it everything is not in chaos? Why is it that your eyes are hugely complex, orderly designed? Why doesn't your eyes hear? Why not? Why does not your eyes hear? It only sees, because it's programmed for vision. It's designed as such. Can accidents design systems like that? Do you know how many years it took us? How much effort it took us to design a robotic hand? How much effort it took us to design a robotic hand which is like us, and still we have not matched the flexibility of a human hand. And yet you say, us, not just my hands, whole human being is a product of accidents, which is nature. Nothing. Nature doesn't have intelligence. And we are made by nature. Why do you say such? Where's your proof? If I were to tell you, I found my watch, my electronic watch, Casio, which gives me fluorescent light, a calculator, alarms, and a calendar as well. And if I were to tell you, I found this watch in a beach, lying around with a piece of paper, a note, it says, this watch came together by itself over millions of years, by chance alone, from the sand particles, from the quartz, and from the carbon and other elements. How many of you would believe me? I give you 15 billion years that this has come. You believe me? He would believe that this watch has come by chance through accidents alone. Why would you believe such?
Why? You're asking the question.
Yeah.
You must understand the question.
No, I ask you, why do you believe such? Because it seems that you are the only one who would believe. Is there anyone else who would believe in what I just said? No, you're the only one. Why? You tell me. What's your reasoning behind this? What's your justification for this?
You have to learn. You have to learn. I'm not going to give you the knowledge for nothing.
Okay, to continue, I think it's best to ignore this person. To continue. So this watch cannot have come by chance. Couldn't have. Because it's ordered. It's designed. Calculation and alarms and a calendar and fluorescent light doesn't come by like this. Design has put into it by someone who has knowledge, someone who has designing capabilities, us. But what about the brain which did it? Oh, we came from accidents. Our brain, which is so complex than our watch, it came by chance. What kind of reasoning is this? I ask you, what kind of reasoning do you have? So this universe itself is a proof that there is a creator behind it. It's obvious. Because the universe exists. Something that exists must have a cause. What's the cause? The universe itself? No. Who says this? Okay, how did the universe begin? We know universe had a beginning. That means at a certain point of time in our understanding, the universe did not exist. Question now. How did the universe come into existence?
Science.
I am talking about science, and am I not?
Science also says there is no God.
Excuse me. Science doesn't say no is God. Certain individuals who study science say there is no God. I study science. Okay, but I don't say there is no God. Excuse me. Please, be to the point. How did the universe come into existence?
Nobody.
Doesn't the universe exist? Do you know that the universe is expanding? My friend, do you know that the universe which we live in now, which is in front of us, the reality is expanding? Do you know this? So what you are talking about is pure fiction, because it's a fact established by science. Don't take my word. Go consult the scientists. Paul Davies, who talks about Big Bang Theory and others. Stephen Hawking. Go talk to them. Read their books. Log into internet. Have email communication with them. All the scientists have, this opinion now. They have established that the universe is expanding. It's not a theory any longer. It's a fact. What happens if something expands? If you go back time, something was not that expanded. That means it was less expanded. Eventually, if you go back time, the scientists say the universe was condensed in a singularity. Everything. Time and space was condensed in a singularity. Before that, there was nothing. Suddenly there was singularity and there was Big Bang, as they say. My question to the gentleman which was here and all of you, how did the universe come into existence before which there was no time and no nothing? How? Did the universe create itself which was nothing? That's irrational. That's the most absurd thing people can, even try to comprehend. Because if something was nothing, didn't exist, it cannot come to existence. It's mere foolishness. Something other than the universe must have brought this universe into existence. And this something is the Creator, God Almighty.
Where did the Creator come from?
The Creator, okay, I can extrapolate this in detail. For example, is this Creator like the universe had a beginning or not? Did this Creator have a beginning? Or is this Creator with no beginning? Does that make sense?
You can't say that the Creator
If the Creator, just like the universe, the Creator couldn't have created himself, because that's mere foolishness. The Creator, if it didn't exist at a certain point of time, meaning was nothing, cannot come into existence of the Creator. That means something must have created this Creator. So if I ask you who created this something, which made this Creator, our final Creator who created the universe. So it goes on ad infinitum. You see? Who created this Creator? And who created that Creator who created this? So you have a chain. Either this chain is infinite, which we will discuss the possibility of whether it can happen, or this chain is like a chain, a round chain. A, B, C, D, and goes on. Or this chain must terminate, meaning this chain had a beginning, before which there is no others. Meaning the ultimate cause. Meaning the one who did not come into existence. So let's take the first possibility, ad infinitum. Imagine now, I need some volunteers. This brother who's having this camera with him, okay, he says he will help the brother next to him on the condition that he is helped by Abdur Raheem Green, my brother here. And Abdur Raheem Green makes the same condition. He will help him if this brother helps him. And it goes on. Do you think this brother, besides the cameraman, would ever be helped? No, because it's never ending. But the fact that the universe exists, meaning the action has taken place. So the chain must end somewhere. Something must have done that, because you cannot have infinite chain which cannot explain why the universe exists or how he gets help. That you have this chain. And if you have similarly in chain form, okay, A, B, C, D, E, goes on like this. Again, same example I can give you. Won't make sense. Because if everyone created something, it goes on, he would not be helped. The same condition. So the chain must end somewhere. Now we limit it to two persons, two creators, let's say. This universe was created by creator B, who was created by creator A. Now between you and me, we make this condition. I will lift this end up of this battery on the condition that you lift the other end up before me. And you make the same condition. You will lift the other end on the condition that I lift this end before you. Would that ever be lifted? Because my lifting of this depends on your lifting, and your lifting depends on me. See, it will never be lifted. So you can't have a chain like this. It makes no sense. You see? The creator must or may have been created by something else. One chain, AB, we finish on this chain, which we have seen doesn't make sense, or this creator was created by something, because that's the implication. A further question arises, which leads us to a chain, infinite or finite, which is all irrational. All the possibilities are irrational. So we are left up with another possibility. Another possibility is that this creator did not have any beginning. And that's the only possibility which your mind can comprehend. None others. So that's your answer. The creator, who is the ultimate cause, who has no beginning, who has no end. Because if someone has no beginning, then his existence won't be influenced by others. Because nothing brought him into existence. If nothing influences his existence would have no end. So the creator is what? Eternal and everlasting. And this creator has to be one as well. This creator needs to be one. What if you have two creators? First of all, possibility says there cannot be more than one creator. Give you another example. Let's say there's two creators, God A and God B, each claiming to be absolute, each claiming to have all power, meaning anything they can do it. You know, they wish they can do it.
TCPIP.
Let's say God A wants to create as much as this Hyde Park. God A is able to do that because He is absolutely all-powerful. And God A is also able to protect the creation, this Hyde Park, because He's also all-powerful. If another God, now God B, is also all-powerful, and he wants to create as much as this London, including Hyde Park, and he wishes and intends to replace this Hyde Park with his own creation, two possibilities. Either he cannot replace the creation of God A, or he can. Yes? If he replaces the creation of God A, that means God A is not all-powerful because he couldn't protect himself, his creation. That means you have God B, the all-powerful, almighty, not God A. But if God B could not replace God A's creation, God B is not all-powerful, God A is. So either way you look at it, there is only one absolute being with all the absolute attributes, all-knowing, all-powerful, and so on. This brings us to an interesting point. We have established that God Almighty is one. Christians say, many of you may be Christians, they say God is a composite unity. I say this is a nonsense. Don't feel insulted. I say this is a nonsense. Why? They say God is composed of three persons, each equal to each other in power, each co-eternal and co-substantial. That's what they say. Same power, they exist eternally, and of the same substance, and of the 3 points. I have a problem with that, because you cannot have more than one being which is absolute, which they say co-equal, of the same power. You cannot have more than one being which is eternal, because you cannot explain how they both came eternally. You cannot explain when something is eternal, how they exist in the relationship between as a son and a father. How? If both of them have no beginning. You cannot explain how one of them, which is supposed to be co-equal the other, humbles his will. You cannot explain how they have independent will. Three wills. These two gentlemen here, they have their own will. He has his own will, I have my own will. If we have a team, we are one team. But we have independent will. So we are three persons. God, if it's a composite unity with three wills, that's three gods, not one God. Because each one of them has their own will. They may wish to humble to another one, and so on and so forth, but it cannot be one God. It doesn't make sense. And strangely enough, it doesn't even make sense that one of them becomes humble to the other. Because by definition and by understanding, the will of God is sovereign. His will cannot be subjugated, cannot be, become humble. God's will is command. God's will is command. So you can't say, oh, he humbled himself. He mutually agreed. You cannot say this. That goes against the concept of Almighty. So how does the Christians justify such a nonsense? It is nonsense. And I repeat, it is a nonsense. Totally irrational. How many of you can rationally justify this Christian belief? Please, you're welcome. As Muslims, we ask you the proof and justification for your belief. And I give my justification for what I believe. I've given you without even mentioning anything from the Quran, the last revelation which I believe in, that God is one. I have demonstrated that God is one. Demonstrated that He is all-knowing, all-powerful, has to be. All the attributes must belong to this Creator. Do you have any disagreement with this?
They say that it's like water. You have ice, you have water, and you have steam. So each of them is water.
Each of them is water.
But they're in different forms. So that's how they say the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Which one was first?
I don't know, ask them.
Because water is actually, if you're talking in the scientific ground, it's nothing. It's H2O. Hydrogen and oxygen molecules come together by sparks, electrical spark, and you get H2O, water. So now we have a problem with this analogy. That means water was certain at times H2 and O2. God, or this each beings, was composed of something other than that. Even more irrational. Even more rational. Another point. If, let's say, all of us were 5,000 years ago in a Brazilian jungle, we had no message from any scripture, from any religious people. Can any single one of us come to the conclusion, without any help of scripture, which we don't have, that God is three in one? Can any one of us come to the conclusion, because we don't have the scripture in front of us, there is no messenger, let's say, bringing us, telling us God is one or God is three. Can you come to the conclusion that God is three in one? If someone comes now, today, and says, look, I am God, how many of you would you believe in that? Regardless of what he does. You see? How many of you would believe? You'd say, now your sense of dignity and pride would come in. How can this man be my creator, my God? He's like me. He eats and drinks. Someone who eats, what happens to him? He or she, at certain points of time, needs to excrete. Can you imagine someone taking another person as God who goes to a toilet? Just like you and me? Can you imagine this? Can you imagine? So we ask you, on what justification, what proof do you have of what you believe? This is the reason why God has given us the intellect. Use it. Use the intellect. And then ascertain and verify who is truly deserving to be worthy of worship. Who is really worthy of worship? A monkey, a stone, the stars, galaxies, human beings, or the one who created everything? Or the one who created everything? The Almighty God, Allah. Call him, the most beautiful name belongs to him. Call him the Ar-Rahman, the merciful, the compassionate one, the loving one. He has the most beautiful names. So on what grounds do you deny God, first of all, knowing that you have been created? And what grounds do you believe in something which doesn't make any sense?
In the green jacket you had.
Yeah. Why did you murder Malcolm X and the Hanif Muslims and their wives and children? Why didn't you tell everyone that? Tell everyone about the spaceship that you think that's going to come and take you all up to space.
The HIV drugs that we're talking about.
Why don't you tell people you think white men are produced by a mad black scientist living a couple of million years ago? Why don't you tell people that rubbish that you people believe? You bunch of racists. You're fascists, that's what you are, black fascists.
His name was Dr. Coach.
They're not Muslims. They're not Muslims.
There were some other people who
goddamn Kafirs, that's what they are.
But this treatment, you can find out about it if you in truth get one of these.
I've got a question for you guys. Come on, you're answering your real questions? Yeah, read the back of that. You think God's a man. And you tell people to use their mind. What, God and went to the loo and poo-pooed and breathed? That's God? Well, it's God, a white man as well? That's brilliant. White men are devils, but you're God's a white man.
By the name of Abdur Ali.
You people have got no brains. That's why you follow the Nation of Islam.
The Minister of Health.
The fornicating prophet Elijah Muhammad. That's why Malcolm X. That's why Malcolm X left the Nation of Islam. He knew your prophet was a fornicator. How many illegitimate children were being born by his secretaries? That's why you killed Malcolm X. Malcolm X became a real Muslim. But how many of us know that?
Look at you people. Come on, answer the question. Why did you kill Malcolm X? Why did Farrakhan, this man traveling around the world now, assassinated Malcolm X? A murderer. Tell us about it, guys. Come on. We want to use our minds. I say what I like. Listen, you're a bunch of kafirs. Get lost. Bunch of kafirs. You're a bunch of filthy apostates. Kafirs. You say Allah's a man. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. That's the reality. Allah is not born, nor does He give birth. Anyone who says Allah is a man is a kafir. Anyone who believes in a prophet after Muhammad is a kafir. Come on, tell us about Elijah Muhammad and why Malcolm X was killed by you guys. We want to know. Malcolm X, a true Muslim, he saw behind the lies of you people. Come on, people, we want to know why you people killed Malcolm X. One question. Give us the answer. Malcolm X, he went to Hajj, didn't he, guys? Remember? And he saw the Caucasian with the black man, the white man side by side with the black man, and he realized that you guys were liars. You were telling lies about Allah, lies about Islam. He realized that Islam is not a racist religion. You're a bunch of racists. Fascists, black fascists, that's what you are.
Not follow that which is being
Farrakhan is a black Hitler, that's all.
Nothing valuable all to say.
One question, answer it.
They come with prejudice.
Why did you kill Malcolm X? Was he prejudiced? Was he a racist too?
And they are not asking any question which is deserving of an answer.
Why you killed Malcolm X? That's not deserving of an answer. You can't answer it, that's why. Bunch of fascists, racists.
We don't waste time with devils.
I'm a devil, right? That's right. You're the devil.
And you are confined.
You changed the book of Allah. You lied against Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You murdered Malcolm X. You're the devils.
No man have an understanding and will
I understand. What do you understand about Islam? Hey, I want to ask you. I'm a white man. Can I be a Muslim too? Huh? According to your religion, your version of Islam? Come on. We want to see who's prejudiced. I'm a white man. I'm asking you. Can I be a Muslim? According to your Islam? Answer it.
Faithful and the true believers back to the Sirat al-Mustaqim.
That's right. Sirat al-Mustaqim. You're Sirat al-Deviation, man. You're Sirat al-Dali. You're the path of misguidance. Devils amongst us. That's right. That's right. Your guy was telling you the thing. Look at you bunch of sheep. He tells you that there. That's right. Who? Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. You know, you said that. Who? Yeah, that's it, brother. Tell it. Where'd you get that from? America.
That's right.
That's right.
And
He's a hallelujah next.
Today is impudent.
That's right.
That's why
You're impudent. You're an impudent. That's what you are.
Of the United States
That's
government.
right.
That's why the Islamic leaders today are unable to protect the Algerian Muslims.
That's right.
And the Algerian
That's right. That's bad. I'm a devil, right? That's right. Well, this devil wants to ask you, I want to be a Muslim. I want to be a Muslim. Let's see who's prejudiced. Can I be a Muslim? I'm a white man. I want to be a Muslim. Can I be a Muslim? Give me an answer. You goddamn racist. You cursed by Allah. You're cursed by Allah. The curse of Allah is upon you.
That's right.
And you must.
When's your spaceship coming to pick you up and take you away? I hope it's soon. Huh? Go and tell him about the spaceship, man. Tell him about the big spaceship. Huh? That your Elijah Muhammad was reading too many science fiction books.
Come on, tell us about the spaceship. Huh?
Caucasian man.
Yeah, the Caucasian man created by a mad black man. That's what you say. What was his name? This black, mad black scientist. And how many years ago did he live?
That's right.
Go on, tell us about it. You bunch of fairy tales you've got there.
That's right.
He is a man whose very basis is a lie.
Yeah,
And so today, he comes disguised as a Muslim. He comes disguised as a Muslim.
That's right.
A manifestation of evil.
Think about it. Look at you, Dumbo standing there in the front. Think about what this fool behind you said. You think God's a man? I'm asking you guys standing there like a bunch of Dumbos in your uniforms. You think God's a man? Does God eat? Does God drink? Is God a drug dealer? Well, his father was a drug dealer convicted in a Chicago prison. We'll bring you his photograph. Is God an ex-drug dealer? Come on, that's right. You're right, that's right. God's a drug dealer? Come on, man. Your nation of Islam, Elijah Muhammad, you people were pimping and prostituting and selling drugs. That's the nation of Islam. That's you people.
Being a Muslim.
Well, being a Muslim is being a racist. Answer my question. Can I be a Muslim? I'm a white man. I want to be a Muslim. Answer my question. A bunch of fools, man. Don't let him call you brother. He's not your brother. That's right. He's not your brother. This man is an enemy of Allah. These people are enemies of Islam. Racists. I don't want to hear his words. A single word he's got to say.
If you have a question, ask your question to me. Shut up. Shut up. Ask your question of me. Do not represent another to me.
Next you're doing Heil or I don't know whatever your equivalent's going to be.
Ask your question. Ask your question. Ask your question.
I've got a question. Can a white man be a Muslim?
Your question.
That's my question.
Shut your mouth and listen. The question is, and if you will listen, you will hear more noise because they're not interested in the answer. But I will waste a few minutes giving the answer to those who are prejudiced. In other words, they already know what it is.
Damn right I know the answer. I want to hear it from your lips. You know white men can't become your version of Islam. You're a bunch of fascists.
The United States government, they pay some black men, which is what they always do, to take guns and shoot down one of our great leaders. No member of the Nation of Islam was involved in the assassination of Malcolm X.
Liars. You know that's a lie.
Members of the Nation of
Malcolm
Islam
X's
are
wife.
prevented,
Ask her who she thinks killed Malcolm X.
then and now to
Ask
carry
Malcolm X's wife. Let's go and ask her. She knows who killed Malcolm X. She knows it was you lot. We heard her on TV. We've seen us. And he wasn't your leader. He left your falsehood. Admit it.
So anyone can claim to be a Muslim follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Honorable? But that dog, that fornicator, that liar against Allah, how dare you call him honorable? Filth he was. Criminal, drug dealer.
Of this conspiracy to kill our brother.
Your brother?
That's the answer.
That's not the answer. That's a lie.
Take it or leave it alone.
We want to know, right? Did Malcolm X apostatize and did he deny Elijah Muhammad? Did or did not Malcolm X deny that Elijah Muhammad? I've seen him and myself on the. I've seen it. Malcolm X. I've lifted the veil over their falsehood. He said. I've exposed them talking about your Elijah Muhammad.
You cannot be a Muslim unless you adhere to those principles. And so, sir, we adhere 100%. We have to get up in the morning and perform Fajr. And before we go to bed at night, we got to do Isha. And so this is the reality of our existence.
Since he won't ask my questions, because he knows that I know what I'm talking about,
with zakat. We struggle to go to Mecca and perform Hajj. We struggle with all of these
Ask him, what's the first and most important principle of Islam? The first one, before all of that. Ask him, what's the first principle in Islam? The first one. Not salah and zakat and so. What's the first principle, my friend? The first principle. But I'm not your friend because I'm a devil. Sorry, I'm a blue-eyed, Caucasian, white devil. Yeah, the genuine question really is, what's the first principle of Islam?
Principle of Islam.
Who is Allah?
Don't tell him, let him answer. Look,
Look at you. And you tell me when was the last time you employed the first principle of Islam?
What is it? What are you doing here? What is it?
Why are you scared of this question?
You have to know the
Why are you scared of this question? Come on.
The question is, can a Caucasian white man like this man in the green jacket? You are so ignorant.
Come on, answer the question.
It's like diarrhea. It's coming out of you. The answer to the question. Shut up, boy. The answer to the question. The answer to the question. Can a Caucasian white man like this man in the green jacket, that's the person that was pointed out to me, can he be a Muslim? Any human being, regardless of creed or class or color, can be a Muslim.
That's right.
The criteria to be a Muslim.
But what you're right.
Shut up.
No, let him say it. Doesn't matter. Let him say it.
Not interested in the answer. Not interested in the answer.
Come on, carry on.
Criteria to be a Muslim is that you submit your will entirely to do the will of God.
Why only your
If
bodyguard
this
has blood?
man submits
Why only your
his
bodyguard
will
has blood?
entirely to do the will of God, he is my brother in faith. That is a Muslim. End of story.
Islam don't need bodyguard.
However, wait for the however,
Islam
guys.
don't need
We are all
bodyguard.
black
If you are alright, you
because
can talk, nobody touch
the
you.
black man in the Western Hemisphere has been through some unique.
Aren't you a funny man from the television, Real McCoy?
And based on the unique circumstances that we have been through,
But you make people laugh for a living.
Allah, in His wisdom, not your wisdom, Allah's wisdom, because Allah is the best knower, not you. Allah, in His wisdom, has chosen to send one from among us to us to teach us about Islam and to bring us back into the Islamic family of true belief, whether you like it or not. And he gave us a specific message to the black man. That same
That's not
black
right.
man,
It's wrong, actually.
Muslims have been abused. That same black man that many of you, so at a time like this, are involved in the word of slavery. What are you doing? Black man that many of you, do you understand? Are you receiving your show? That same black man that many of you sell alcohol to in your shop. That same black man that many of you are racist against. And you have light-skinned Arabs, white people at the top of the Islamic church, and you treat the black man as some inferior.
That's not true. Bilal was
We know you.
our prophet. Bilal was black. Listen.
I tell you what. Ask them if they believe Allah manifested Himself in the form of a man. And if they do that, kafirs, we don't care if they pray, they fast, they read the Quran 100 times a day. Anyone who believes that God is a man who became a man, he's a kafir. And you believe in a prophet after Muhammad, you're a kafir. The Quran says that Muhammad is the seal of the prophets. He's Khatam al-Nabi. So what's this message, my friend? Come on, tell us. Message to the black man. Huh? Of Elijah Muhammad. Do you believe he's a prophet or not?
The nation of Islam, we are called the lost, found members of the nation of Islam. The nation of Islam was set up in truth from the inception of Allah Himself. Because Allah is willing. Because Allah is willing. Because Allah is willing. But the reality is that the nation of Islam, Allah says, this
Did you say Allah is a Muslim? You're stupid. Long time. Allah is someone who submits to himself. You fool. Honestly, how stupid can you get? What more nonsense are you going to come out with? Tell them what Muslim means. Mr. Speaker, please tell everyone here what Muslim means to show them what a foolish thing you've just said. What does the word Muslim mean? The word Muslim means someone who submits to Allah. So how can Allah be a Muslim? Well, Allah submits to Allah. You robbed of your mind, mate. Really? You're bonkers.
However,
You need to the black man, right?
anybody can be a member of the nation of Islam.
Yeah, but you can be, but you can't be, right?
Submit to God.
For black men, but
So we have no power to say, like Caucasian
you say Caucasians are devils.
these devils who are now saying,
Blue-eyed devils, you've even got a verse of the Quran to prove it, haven't you? They're blue-eyed devils, Caucasians, we've heard you quote it before. Why are you lying to everybody? That's what makes me sick. You're ashamed. You're lying because you're ashamed of the truth. That's right.
have you chosen the broad way that leads to destruction?
But I've got green eyes. Where does that leave your interpretation of the Quranic verse? That's interesting.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful, I testify and I bear witness that Allah alone is worthy of being worshipped, and that Muhammad ibn Abdullah, who lived 1,400 years ago in Arabia, he is the slave of Allah and his messenger, and he is the last messenger. Every Muslim believes that Muhammad is the last prophet. As for those people who say that another man is a prophet after Muhammad, like the black people, nation of Islam, they call themselves, then there's no racism in Islam. The Prophet Muhammad, the real Prophet Muhammad, 1,400 years ago taught that there's no difference between the white man and the black man. There's no difference between the Arab and the non-Arab except in one thing. The one thing is the degree to which you worship your Lord, you fear Him, and you obey Him. Taqwa. That's the only difference between the people. Not the rich and the poor. Not the men and the women. Not the black and the white. Not the Arab and the non-Arab. The difference between us people is one thing. It's not a racial thing. It's not a wealth thing. It's not an intelligence thing. It's to do with the degree to which you recognize your Lord and worship Him. Now, as for these people, and there are some people, they claim that God revealed a new message to Elijah Muhammad. This is a lie against Allah. And they say Allah is a man. Well, we heard this Allah is a man stuff before. My people, it's about time we lifted off the lid of these people, the so-called nation of Islam,
who's been claiming here that the CIA killed Malcolm X. It's a lie, people, and I want to read to you from the autobiography of Malcolm X written by himself. This is what he said. Not these liars. They killed him and they know they killed him. This is what he says, people. Page 500, here it is. Every morning I wake up. Now I regard as having it another borrowed day. In any city, wherever I go, making speeches, holding meetings of my organization, or attending to other businesses, black men are watching every move I make, awaiting their chance to kill me. I have said publicly many times that I know they have their orders. Anyone who chooses not to believe me and what I'm saying doesn't know the Muslims in the nation of Islam. That's what Malcolm X says in his autobiography. And now let's go to one of the speeches of Malcolm X. Here you can get it. The last speeches of Malcolm X. Let's see what he says about these murderers, these people who claim that the black man is going to bring peace upon the earth. When this nation of Islam, people, they murdered Malcolm X because he became a real Muslim, because Elijah Muhammad was fornicating with his secretaries. I can give you his interviews. Himself interviewed the 6 of the secretaries of Elijah Muhammad who were impregnated by him in adulterous relationships. He mentions in his autobiography the reply that Elijah Muhammad gave to him, saying, I have to do what the other prophets did. I have to have incest like Lot had incest. I have to fornicate like David fornicated. We Muslims, true Muslims, do not utter such filth and lie against the prophets of Allah. Allah's messengers do not fornicate. They do not fornicate. And this is what Malcolm X says. Now here's his speech. Do you know, the questioner asks, do you know that Elijah Muhammad was behind this? And Malcolm X says, yes. And the questioner says, or is this your belief? And Malcolm X says, yes. Elijah Muhammad called all of his officials to Chicago in October and ordered them to kill or maim any of his followers who leave him to follow me. That's what they says. That is an interview with Malcolm X, people. That is some random pickings I have taken. I invite you people to read the autobiography of Malcolm X. He knows that the nation of Islam was out to kill him. Many of his speeches, he said publicly many times, people, that Malcolm X was going to be killed by Elijah Muhammad and his followers. True Muslims believe that is the true Muslim, the true Muslims that number over 1/4 of the world's population. Orthodox Muslims who follow the real Quran that was revealed to Muhammad. Muhammad was the last and the final messenger of God, that Allah is the creator of the heavens and the earth. Allah is the name used by Jews and Christians who are Arabs for God. Allah is the supreme creator who has no beginning and no end. He is not born nor he is begotten, and there is nothing that can be likened unto him. Yet these people, you can ask them for their newspaper. It is called The Final Call, and you can read for yourself on the back of the newspaper that they believe that God incarnated himself in the form of Wallace Fard, who was a human being. Any person who believes that God incarnated himself as a man is a disbeliever in God, is a blasphemer against God, has reviled and insulted the creator of the heavens and the earth, and he is a kafir, an unbeliever. And these people believe that, yet they call themselves Muslims. No, people, no Muslim can believe that God is a man, or God incarnates himself as a man. And Malcolm X himself, says in his speeches, in his biography, in his autobiography, that these people just use the trappings of Islam. They use Islam for their own ends. They have nothing to do with what the creator of the heavens and the earth revealed to Muhammad. May God's peace and blessings be upon him. Muhammad ibn Abdullah, the last and final messenger who lived 1,400 years.
I tell you again, I am here to warn you. Whether you believe it or not, you are going to find out the truth that Jesus means exactly what he said. It was Jesus who warns us of hell. It's Jesus who warns us of the lake of fire. It's not about religious fanatics. It's about what every one of us is coming to. Only those who are written in the Lamb's Book of Life are going to know the glory of God here on earth. You don't float off to heaven when you die. Jesus came to bring heaven to you 2,000 years ago. And every time you ignore Jesus, every time you mock and scoff him, you're putting yourself off from it. And that is why we've gone so far now. Your hearts are so hard that you think that you don't need him. But you're not in hell yet. You can get out of hell. You're not going to get out of the choice you've made. Because the world is in the condition it's in because of you. Because of selfishness, weakness, cowardice, unbelief. That's what judgment is. You being faced with reality of yourself. I'm doing you a favor today, giving you the opportunity to be strong enough to face it now. But I can assure you, the choice is yours. And what I can say with it to every conscience, I have done my part to warn you. If you take no notice, bear the responsibility. If you want to please the crowd, then, you know, that's why you should be in a circus. That's what you're looking for, isn't it? A circus? That's why you're here, isn't it? Entertainment?
Okay.
Very interesting. You say Christian atheism. What does it mean? Because I am from Germany.
Right, that I believe in Jesus, but not in God.
Not in God.
Right. In Jesus Christ, but not in God.
And about your religion?
Well, that is, the religion is fulfilling the vision of Jesus Christ, of peace on earth. That's what the purpose and meaning of my life is.
But you say you're an atheist.
Right, yes, I'm an atheist. This is a wholly human activity.
So isn't this a contradiction in terms?
No, because I'm a follower of a human being.
Absolutely marvelous.
But wasn't Jesus God according to you?
No. He was a human being, like you or me.
So it doesn't mean that you're an atheist if you believe Jesus was a human being?
Yes, it does.
Why?
Because I deny the existence of God.
Ah, I see. Oh, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
A man who eats food, a man who sleeps, a man who was a baby, who grew up, and then he died. We cannot say that this is God, because these are not the qualities of God. God is far from this.
Ja, schau, das ist der Unterschied. Islam told us we're all children of God. Catholic school we learn and they say we couldn't be children.
Yes, they say, according to Catholic, Jesus is the only begotten Son of God. And whoever shall believe in him shall never perish and shall have an everlasting life. You understand? This is what they say. But Jesus himself, his mission was, he told the people, and he never claimed to be God. He told the people, "Hear, O children of Israel, worship only one God." Understand? And Jesus himself, to prove to you that he was a man like any other person, except that he was a prophet of God, he said, "I heal the blind people by God's permission. I heal the leper by God's permission. I by myself, I cannot do nothing." So these are the words of Jesus himself. But he told the people, "Follow me and you shall attain the paradise. You shall go to paradise." He said, "Follow me." And himself, he prayed, he fasted, He done those actions. And he said, no one shall die for the sins of another person. I know, because your parents take you to Catholic school, and your parents took them to... Let me tell you anything, whatever it is, and your parents take you to Catholic school and all that. But you must believe, this is a matter of your faith. It's a matter of hellfire and paradise. If your belief is incorrect, it will be bad for your own self. You have to save yourself from the hellfire. You cannot believe that a man was God and worship that man besides God and expect to go to paradise. You have to believe as the way the prophets believed. You have to believe the way Moses believed, the way Abraham believed. Jesus did not bring a new religion. He followed the religion of the prophets who came before him. He did not contradict Abraham, no Moses, no Ismail, no Jacob. He came with the same message, worship only one God. But the people who came after Jesus, Paul is the one changed the doctrine when he went to the Romans and he found them worshipping many gods, and he started introducing these things to Christianity. Understand? The concept of Trinity was introduced 300 years after Jesus left. Understand? He was not a part of the teaching of the original teachings of Jesus. Jesus preached only one message. He told the people worship only one God. Understand? And this is the message he told. So Islam is complete. It's got economical, social, political, all solutions. You understand? For the whole of mankind. It's got solutions for women, solutions for men, solutions for children, anything. This is Islam. It's a complete and precise way of life. Nothing is short of it, and it's a complete. Did I understand? I mean,
Yes.
is there any question you have? Or
Yes, what of the women in your Islam?
what is the role of women in Islam? Islam honors women. Islam does not degrade women like the way the Western society has done. They advertise everything. They use women, naked women, to advertise everything. They advertise a car, you see more of a naked women than you see of the car. This is how they've disrespected the woman. The role of a woman is respected in the society. A woman there's no man who did not come to this earth except through a woman. You understand? And how can you corrupt the women and use them as objects? You understand? To sell your goods, they use women to sell everything. You understand? Everything they have to. So Islam honors the women. Islam respects the women. The most knowledgeable person in Islam is a woman, and that's the wife of the Prophet ﷺ. So in Islam we honor women. The West, they don't honor women. They disrespect the women. You understand? And they come in the name of freedom. They say they give you your freedom to do whatever. Freedom is not walking naked in the streets. This is not freedom. You understand? Freedom is the freedom of your mind. They do not indoctrinate your mind and make you feel you have to be a certain way for the society to accept you. That's what they do to you. They say you have to be like this so that they will accept you. If you want to get a job, you have to be like this. If you want to do this, you have to be like this. So this is not freedom. They already made your mind slaves. So you have to follow their system. They've made the system like that. They use women as objects. Understand? They make women so cheap. But in Islam we honor women. They are mothers. They are our sisters. None of us would like our sisters to be used the same way that this society they use them. Understand? So that's the way. They make you feel like, oh, Islam oppresses women. Islam does not let the women go. But no, Islam does not oppress. Women in Islam, they have their rights. And their right is that they shall be honored and respected in the society. And they shall not be treated like garbage or objects.
It's a title. It's a symbolic title. So maybe you should have got a symbolic as well. Yes? Yeah, I don't think the Son of God of itself doesn't mean that he was God. It means he was the Messiah.
The Messiah?
Yes.
Okay, good.
What you want? Let's leave that aside. What did he mean? You haven't answered my first question. What did he mean when he said, I'm the Son of Man? What did he mean? What did the prophecy of Daniel mean?
Try to come.
Well, let's look at it then. Daniel chapter 7 verses 13 and 14. In my vision at night I looked, and there before me was one like a son of man, coming with the clouds of heaven. He approached the Ancient of Days and was led into his presence. He was given authority, glory and sovereign power. All peoples, nations and men of every language worshipped him. You hear that? Worshipped. Yeah? His dominion is an everlasting dominion that will not pass away,
and his kingdom is one that will never be destroyed. Now, in the time of Jesus, the Jews understood this to be a prophecy of the Messiah. They were looking for this one, the Son of Man, and Jesus said that he was there.
Hold on. Okay. When the verse says they worshipped him, what word did they use?
It's an Aramaic word which I don't know offhand.
You got to prove to me the Jews or anyone else worship Jesus. Show me in a verse of the Bible where anyone worshipped Jesus.
Hey, come on, you're getting off the point. What does this word mean?
No. It says in the Bible.
You are getting off the point. What does this mean?
No. It says that the Son of Man shall be worshipped.
Yes.
I'm asking you, was Jesus worshipped at his time?
Yes, he was. But that's
show me
right.
Just a minute.
Yes, he was. But that's irrelevant.
And by the leper.
Show me where he was worshipped.
Just a minute. That is irrelevant.
It's not relevant.
Come on, you get back to the point. What does this word mean?
I don't care what.
What does this Aramaic word mean?
I'm saying.
Come on, you explain it.
I'm saying to you.
Christian like you.
Do you mean it means worship in a sense of only given to God?
Yes.
Okay. There are two words for worship in Greek.
I'm not talking about Greek. This is Aramaic.
Excuse me.
Come on, we're not finished on this yet.
Aramaic.
Come on, don't get off the point. This is Aramaic. Yes.
What language Jesus speak? Is it Aramaic?
I think it was Hebrew. Aramaic.
Aramaic, right? So he would have used that word too.
No, look,
one minute.
The question is not what Jesus said.
He would have used that word.
What does this mean?
I'm dealing with that. I'm saying to you, Jesus spoke Aramaic, not Cockney English. He said,
I think he spoke Hebrew.
He said, I'm the Lord, I'm the Son of God. So show me in the New Testament where Jesus was worshipped. The only way God can worship.
Hold on, I'll show you that in a minute, okay?
I'll show you that in a minute, but first of all, let's get this.
No.
If Jesus was the Son of Man. If Jesus called himself the Son of Man, as according to prophecy,
I'm saying to you, he called himself the Son of Man, yes.
Right, meaning this.
1 minute.
Okay? And if the word does not apply to him, only be given to God, then what's the problem?
Is this now? It's a very simple question. I'm saying to you, okay, he's the Son of Man. He calls himself that by me. Okay? It says the Son of Man will be worshipped. You said this worship is a worship that can only be given to God. Show me in the New Testament where Jesus was given worship that can only be given to God.
Right.
See? She got flesh.
Now, Isa, I guess.
1 minute. Where's the verse?
I'm looking for it.
You're not going to find it.
Never.
You'll never find it.
Never.
Until the cows come home.
Nonsense. Help him. Show him. Never.
Listen.
Never.
Listen, what's he looking for? Hasn't got God inside of him? This man has the Holy Spirit inside of him. Boom. Give me the verse. Where's the Holy Spirit? Can you find it?
John 9, verse 35. John chapter 9, verse 35. Do you believe in the Son of Man? He said to this bloke. Who is he, sir? The man asked. Tell me so that I may believe in him, okay? Shows they were looking out for the Son of Man. Jesus said, you have now seen him. In fact, he is the one speaking with you. Okay? So Jesus is the Son of Man. Then the man said, Lord, I believe. And he worshipped him. Okay?
I knew you'd use that verse.
Lord, I believe.
Lord,
yes.
Lord. What is the Greek word used there?
Proskuneo.
Does it mean worship as worshipping God? Or does it mean reverence?
Well,
it means reverence, doesn't it? Don't lie to me. Don't lie.
Let's deal with this. Okay?
It means reverence.
Well,
and this word,
which word do you think you should have used?
Sebomai.
Really?
Sebomai means worship, and this Greek word is only applied to God.
Right.
So why is this word used for Jesus?
Now, Isa, this word Sebomai, okay, is it ever used by John?
I beg your pardon?
Is it ever used by the Apostle John? Yeah.
The question is this.
This is the question. Is that word ever used by John?
Going back to Pascal, I'll deal with that.
Well, deal with it now.
I'm dealing with it now.
Is it ever used by John?
I'll deal with it. One step at a time.
If you want John to use it, then does he ever use it?
Be patient.
I've been very patient with you.
Be more patient. So in this. This word Pascal, okay? This word Pascal, it is applied to